The Constitution of India. Part 3. Fundamental Rights. 12. Definition. In this part, unless the context otherwise requires, the state includes the government and Parliament of India and the government and the legislature of each of the states and all local or other authorities within the territory of India or under the control of the Government of India. 13. Laws inconsistent with or in derogation of the fundamental rights. 1. All laws in force in the territory of India immediately before the commencement of this constitution, insofar as they are inconsistent with the provisions of this part, shall, to the extent of such inconsistency, be void. 2. The state shall not make any law which takes away or abridges the rights conferred by this part, and any law made in contravention of this clause shall, to the extent of the contravention, be void. 3. In this article, unless the context otherwise requires, a law includes any ordinance, order, bylaw, rule, regulation, notification, custom or usage having in the territory of India the force of law. B. Laws in force includes laws passed or made by a legislature or other competent authority in the territory of India before the commencement of this constitution and not previously repealed, notwithstanding that any such law or any part thereof may not be then in operation either at all or in particular areas. 4. Nothing in this article shall apply to any amendment of this constitution made under Article 368. Right to equality. 14. Equality before law. The state shall not deny to any person equality before the law or the equal protection of the laws within the territory of India. 15. Prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth. 1. The state shall not discriminate against any citizen on grounds only of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth or any of them. 2. No citizen shall, on grounds only of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth or any of them, be subject to any disability, liability, restriction or condition with regard to a. Access to shops, public restaurants, hotels and places of public entertainment, or b. The use of wells, tanks, bathing ghats, roads and places of public resort maintained wholly or partly out of state funds or dedicated to the use of the general public. 3. Nothing in this article shall prevent the state from making any special provision for women and children. 4. Nothing in this article or in clause 2 of Article 29 shall prevent the state from making any special provision for the advancement of any socially and educationally backward classes of citizens or for the scheduled castes and the scheduled tribes. 2. 5. Nothing in this article or in sub-clause G of clause 1 of Article 19 shall prevent the state from making any special provision, by law, for the advancement of any socially and educationally backward classes of citizens or for the scheduled castes or the scheduled tribes insofar as such special provisions relate to their admission to educational institutions including private educational institutions, whether aided or unaided by the state, other than the minority educational institutions referred to in Clause 1 of Article 30. 6. Nothing in this article or sub-clause G of Clause 1 of Article 19 or Clause 2 of Article 29 shall prevent the state from making a. Any special provision for the advancement of any economically weaker sections of citizens other than the classes mentioned in clauses 4 and 5. And b. Any special provision for the advancement of any economically weaker sections of citizens other than the classes mentioned in clauses 4 and 5, insofar as such special provisions relate to their admission to educational institutions including private educational institutions, whether aided or unaided by the state, other than the minority educational institutions referred to in Clause 1 of Article 30. which in the case of reservation would be in addition to the existing reservations and subject to a maximum of 10% of the total seats in each category. Explanation. For the purposes of this article and Article 16, economically weaker sections shall be such as may be notified by the state from time to time on the basis of family income and other indicators of economic disadvantage. 16. Equality of opportunity in matters of public employment. 1. There shall be equality of opportunity for all citizens in matters relating to employment or appointment to any office under the state. 2. No citizen shall, on grounds only of religion, race, caste, sex, descent, place of birth, residence or any of them, be ineligible for, or discriminated against in respect of, any employment or office under the state. 3. Nothing in this article shall prevent Parliament from making any law prescribing, in regard to a class or classes of employment or appointment to an office 1, under the government of, or any local or other authority within, a state or union territory, any requirement as to residence within that state or union territory, prior to such employment or appointment. 4. Nothing in this article shall prevent the state from making any provision for the reservation of appointments or posts in favor of any backward class of citizens which, in the opinion of the state, is not adequately represented in the services under the state. 2. 4a. Nothing in this article shall prevent the state from making any provision for reservation 3, in matters of promotion, with consequential seniority, to any class, or classes of posts in the services under the state in favor of the scheduled castes and the scheduled tribes which, in the opinion of the state, are not adequately represented in the services under the state. 4. 4b. Nothing in this article shall prevent the state from considering any unfilled vacancies of a year which are reserved for being filled up in that year in accordance with any provision for reservation made under Clause 4, or Clause 4a, as a separate class of vacancies to be filled up in any succeeding year or years, and such class of vacancies shall not be considered together with the vacancies of the year in which they are being filled up for determining the ceiling of 50% reservation on total number of vacancies of that year. 5. Nothing in this article shall affect the operation of any law which provides that the incumbent of an office in connection with the affairs of any religious or denominational institution or any member of the governing body thereof shall be a person professing a particular religion or belonging to a particular denomination. 1.6. Nothing in this article shall prevent the state from making any provision for the reservation of appointments or posts in favor of any economically weaker sections of citizens other than the classes mentioned in Clause 4, in addition to the existing reservation and subject to a maximum of 10% of the posts in each category. 17. Abolition of untouchability. Untouchability is abolished and its practice in any form is forbidden. The enforcement of any disability arising out of untouchability shall be an offense punishable in accordance with law. 18. Abolition of titles. 1. No title, not being a military or academic distinction, shall be conferred by the state. 2. No citizen of India shall accept any title from any foreign state. 3. No person who is not a citizen of India shall, while he holds any office of profit or trust under the state, accept without the consent of the President any title from any foreign state. 4. No person holding any office of profit or trust under the state shall, without the consent of the President, accept any present, emolument, or office of any kind from or under any foreign state. Right to freedom. 19. Protection of certain rights regarding freedom of speech, etc. 1. All citizens shall have the right a. To freedom of speech and expression. b. To assemble peaceably and without arms. c. To form associations or unions to, or cooperative societies. D. To move freely throughout the territory of India. A. To reside and settle in any part of the territory of India. 1 and 2. F. Asterisk 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 G. To practice any profession, or to carry on any occupation, trade or business. 2. Nothing in sub-clause A of clause 1 shall affect the operation of any existing law, or prevent the state from making any law, insofar as such law imposes reasonable restrictions on the exercise of the right conferred by the said sub-clause in the interests of 4. The sovereignty and integrity of India, the security of the state, friendly relations with foreign states, public order, decency or morality, or in relation to contempt of court, defamation or incitement to an offense. 3. Nothing in sub-clause B of the said clause shall affect the operation of any existing law insofar as it imposes, or prevent the state from making any law imposing, in the interests of 4. The sovereignty and integrity of India or public order, reasonable restrictions on the exercise of the right conferred by the said sub-clause. 4. Nothing in sub-clause C of the said clause shall affect the operation of any existing law insofar as it imposes, or prevent the state from making any law imposing, in the interests of 4. The sovereignty and integrity of India or public order or morality, reasonable restrictions on the exercise of the right conferred by the said sub-clause.
5. Nothing in 5 sub-clauses D and E of the said clause shall affect the operation of any existing law insofar as it imposes, or prevent the state from making any law imposing, reasonable restrictions on the exercise of any of the rights conferred by the said sub-clauses either in the interests of the general public or for the protection of the interests of any scheduled tribe. 6. Nothing in sub-clause G of the said clause shall affect the operation of any existing law insofar as it imposes, or prevent the state from making any law imposing, in the interests of the general public, reasonable restrictions on the exercise of the right conferred by the said sub-clause, and, in particular, nothing in the said sub-clause shall affect the operation of any existing law in so far as it relates to, or prevent the state from making any law relating to I. The professional or technical qualifications necessary for practicing any profession or carrying on any occupation, trade or business, or 2. The carrying on by the state, or by a corporation owned or controlled by the state, of any trade, business, industry or service, whether to the exclusion, complete or partial, of citizens or otherwise.
Thanks for watching Political Knowledge 8470.